All right, guys. Okay, so super excited for our next guests. Jen and Erica, two of Instant Team's finest, joining us. Jen and Erica, say hello to the CX Nation.
Hi, CX Nation.
Hello, everyone.
Why don't we start off with some introductions? Jen, why don't you start first? Your name, how long you've been at Instant Teams in your role today, and what are some of the things that you're doing today here at Instant Teams?
Awesome. Well, first of all, thanks, Adrian, for having us. This is super exciting. My name's Jen Martin, and I am the Strategic Partnership Manager here at Instant Teams. I am also a military spouse of almost 18 years. We are currently stationed at Fort Knox, soon to be Fort Bragg again this summer. So we're very excited about
They're
that.
changing or updating or?
Yes, so it has officially changed. It was Fort Bragg, then Fort Liberty, now Fort Bragg again. So we are back to gold.
That's amazing. And so what are the one or two biggest things that you're focused on or that you're doing here at Instant Teams every single day?
Yeah, so really it's about building community and relationships and bringing opportunities to the military spouse community through remote work and community connections. So that way, when they move to a new duty station, they can have the consistency within their careers to take those with them. And if they're not quite in their career state yet, they have community that they can plug into right away. And they can get to that point where they're starting off on the right foot in their new community. So that way they can not only survive in this lifestyle, but thrive.
I love it. I love it. Erica, how about yourself? So your name, your role, how long you've been working at Instant Teams for?
Hi, yeah. Well, thank you for having us on. Erica here. I'm also a strategic partnership manager here at Instant Teams, and we're located in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So 1 hour outside of our headquarters here in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
Awesome. And some of the big things that you're thinking about, or what are the big one or two things that you're doing every single solitary day here at Instant Teams to drive the mission, drive the community, and drive the growth of the business?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm really excited to partner with Jen. So the two of us are kind of like your Swiss Army knife, if you will, in the world, going after brands and building those bridges between those relationships. Like Jen said, we are all about building community here. And so what that means is just letting the business community know that there is so much untapped opportunity within the military spouse community. And how do we tie those two things together so we get that beautiful synergy of great business ROI mixed with wonderful relationship building?
I love it. And guys, I want you to jump right in. Jim, let's start with you and then we can move to Erica, but let's do some education for our listeners. Because last night, guys, when we got here, we had an incredible conversation.
Yeah.
You guys dropped so much military spouse and just general economic knowledge on me. It was crazy. Let's start with some of the basics. Can you talk about, or can you give our listeners an idea? How many people are we talking about in the military spouse community? And then some of the nuances that you and Erica kind of walked me through. Can you give the listeners just like a high level around the people that we're talking about and how big this space is and how many people it really does impact and affect?
Yeah. So the military spouse community that we reach is over 12 million spouses.
That's crazy.
That's between active duty, Guard, Reserve, veterans, and Gold Star spouses. And they're stationed all over the world, or they've retired out of the military, or they're, kind of on the other side of this active duty lifestyle.
Yep.
And so really the military spouse community is amazing for CX talent because it's one of those things where throughout this journey, they have such unique lived experiences from moving every 2 to 3 years that they become almost like superheroes for customers.
Yeah.
Because they can really relate with those customers no matter what the situation is. If it's a crisis situation, if it's problem solving, stress management, conflict resolution, right? They have really honed in on those skills being in this lifestyle.
Totally.
Through deployments and every other thing that, it's kind of thrown at you, you learn to adapt and cope in that environment.
Yep.
And so when it comes to the customer's customer, they can really solve all the problems.
Yep. It's funny. So guys, Jen and Erica were telling me last night, for example, many of us who don't have military family or we're not connected to folks that are super close to us, whether it's best friends or family in the military, you guys were talking about it is super common for military spouses to not only shop for and buy every house, shop for and buy every car, shop for and buy all the groceries, deal with the kids, deal with school. Oh, wait, we're moving in 6 months too on top. So wait, let me go figure that whole thing all out all over again. Well, their spouses are across seas, protecting their country, being deployed to another mission where they're dealing with something else and they're not available, right? This is I don't think a lot of people that aren't close to the space realize, I mean, life is hard enough as it is. This is something that you're talking about an extremely resilient,
Mm-hmm.
flexible, pliable, adaptable,
Yes.
and just frankly badass group of people that
Right.
like can like just get shit done every single solitary day, and they do it with a smile. Erica, why don't I'd love for you to expand on the building the bridges. So there's a couple things happening against teams. Number one, we have built this incredible boutique BPO that serves all these incredible customers out there that want to leverage the fact that we've got these incredible men and women across the world, across all these different time zones.
Mhm.
Friendly reminder, guys, if some of our military spouses are sitting on a base, they're technically sitting in
Yep.
a stateside seat,
Yes.
correct?
On
Correct.
US soil.
So a lot
Yep.
of people don't realize that,
Yep.
but spend a minute or two trying to talk about the bridge building. So like one part of it is we have business services,
Yep.
but then you and Jen were talking at late last night to me about we're also building a massive community here. We're
Yeah.
building a community and almost like a support group for military spouses across the world. Spend a couple minutes talking about that.
Yeah, totally. So really, the big thing here is opening up those connection points. So many businesses spend their time trying to reach the veteran and the military community at length and at volume, and they struggle to do that because they're not necessarily these open channels to talk to these communities directly. And that's where Instant Teams comes in. We build community aspects, right? So we build out partnerships. We are putting on events all across the country to engage this audience. So what's very unique about Instant Teams is that because we open up the space and provide that level of safety and security and support for the military spouse community, they come to us, which is very rare in this community. It's hard to get people to come out of their homes and show up. And so for businesses, what the great thing here is that they're able to talk to the community in less of a solicited way and more of a direct and authentic way. And so what's really amazing is that these partners will come to our events and get to wrap their arms around these military spouses and say, we see you,
Yep.
we recognize what it takes to be a military spouse, and we understand that you may be the unsung hero in the household because,
Totally.
like you said, there are a million roles and responsibilities that these men and women need to do, and they pivot on a dime 24/7. And when I say 24/7, I mean overnight. I mean, as soon as you wake up, sometimes in the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
I bet.
Yeah,
I can
It
imagine.
really
Been there.
is just constantly walking in through new doors.
Yeah.
So the way that we're able to really put our arms around them and bring the business community together with these military spouses translates to wonderful loyalty. Like Jen said, they are great brand ambassadors for your brand specifically because they are so appreciative to be seen and recognized because it is a hard life to be a part of.
Yep. One quick follow-up question, and I
Mhm.
know we talked about this lately last night, guys, but what were people doing before missions and before some of these incredible groups against teams to provide some of that support or to provide just that ability to connect or that ability to have some type of community? What
Yeah.
was happening before or what was happening previously?
Yeah. So, when we were at the height of the war, it was a little bit different because spouses really depended on the military units and the government to provide that information to them, right? Whether it's information about their service member, what's happening, the details. And so, really, they were kind of bonded through that experience of deployments, right?
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so now that we've kind of come off of that, we've realized over the years that you have to evolve with the spouse community. So what they needed then wasn't necessarily the same as what they need now,
Okay.
Right.
but they still crave that connection.
Yeah.
Like they crave the community building, the human to human interaction. And so that's really where we're coming in. We're bringing the community back to them, but in a unique and fun way.
Yep.
So for so long, spouses have often been referred to as a plus one to the
Mhm.
service members, right? Because service members are the spotlight in this community.
Okay.
And so Instant Teams is taking a different narrative. The spouses are the spotlight. We want to really give back to the spouse community because they just bring so much to the table.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so, that's what we've learned over the years is we're here for them,
Yep.
right? The service members have so many resources, but let's bring the spouses into the spotlight. Let's recognize them. Let's, really celebrate them and
Yep.
what they bring.
I love it. Um, Erica, question around give the listeners a sense for how does somebody that's already in a military spouse situation, but they're looking for more, they're looking for community, they're looking for maybe they've gotten to the point now where they're on their second or their third move and they're like, shit, you know what? I need to find a place that is going to be
Yeah.
able to jive with me and have baked in flexibility from day one around,
Hmm.
if I work with an institute, for example, I know that doesn't matter what's going to happen, I still have an opportunity to be moved along. Spend a minute or two talking about sort of how some of the job placements or how some of the job boards or how some of the ways that we actually go about helping our community find new employment opportunities. Can you spend a minute or two kind of talking about at a high
Hmm.
level what that looks like?
Right, for sure. Well, I mean, I think the big thing to recognize is that that's many people's stories. It's similar to my story. My husband decided to join the military less than 2 years ago, and it was a completely different lifestyle that we were living, both of us fully in our careers, and then made this huge life change or pivot, if
Yeah.
you will,
Yeah.
to be a part of this community. And it is difficult to find those resources. So that is what is really setting Instant Teams apart, is that we are the first people and the first community that says, we're coming to you. We're
Mhm.
supporting you, whether it's locally in Clarksville or here in Fort Liberty or wherever you are. We're coming to your bases and we're providing that level of partnership. We're bringing businesses to your community and we're saying, hey, you may be new here, but you're not recreating the wheel. We are here to support that life change and decisions that you're making. And
Yep.
like, let's not forget, this is your service member is doing a civic duty and the military spouse is supporting that. And it's
Yeah.
that great sacrifice, right?
Yep.
These are families that are similar to my family. We're dual income households that then have to figure out, okay, we're moving across the country. Maybe I can't take my job with me. And
Yeah.
so what Instant Teams is doing is we're going out, we're talking to the businesses, and we are advocating on behalf of the military spouse and saying, hey, if you are partnering with Instant Teams, you have an alliance with us saying that you have a duty, a responsibility, and an understanding to support the military spouse. So when we send you our workers, we are pre-vetting them, if you
Yeah.
will, and
Yeah. Yeah.
saying, hey, you are a military spouse friendly business or a military friendly hiring business. Let's make sure the word is out there and go to that community directly and present them the opportunities.
Love it. I love it. Quick question before I let you go. What you hit the big jump or the life pivot that you and your husband went through?
Yeah.
Which part of the service does your husband serve in today?
Yeah. So he joined the United States Army. He was previously an aerospace engineer for a very large company out of Seattle.
Okay, Jen, I want to ask you the same thing. What part of the service is your spouse in today?
We're also in the Army, so he's special operations.
So some incredible ideas here, guys, and just some incredible things. Because I'm telling you, I know that people that aren't close to the space, they don't think about some
Mhm.
stuff, and then when
Hmm.
you talk about it, the same type of reaction that
Right.
we had last night. It was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, this makes
Right.
so much sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
How isn't there a bunch of support or a bunch of competition, even frankly, around like
Yeah.
how you're going to help all of these people just have a sense of belonging, community, and then you get to the business stuff, which is like obviously you guys
Yeah.
you heard me joking with you last night about it, but like Jen, spend like maybe a minute or two talking about in the 18 years that you've been a military spouse, has there ever been any types of organizations or groups or missions that have come anywhere close to some of the incredible stuff that you guys are building here at Institutes today?
Gosh, I mean, I've had so many jobs over the years as a spouse. I don't think so. It's Instant Teams is unique because not only are you W-2'd and on their
Hmm.
payroll, but you also get PCS leave.
Hmm.
They are founded by military spouses, so they get what you're going through, right?
Yeah.
Every time you have to pick up in PCS.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing with them being remote. As a spouse, you can have that career continuity and you can continue to grow and hit your career goals, right? So other companies, you may work there for a couple of years, then you move, you have to
Hmm.
start all over.
Totally.
We all know how the job market is and how
Yeah.
Right.
tough it
Yeah.
is. But Instant Teams is really changing that for military spouses because they are spouses. And so they've walked in your shoes, they've been there, and they can solve business problems with real military spouse talent.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect match because military spouses, they want to be dual income,
Hmm.
but they need the flexibility of remote.
Yeah.
So that way they can take that with them when
Yeah.
they move.
Yeah.
But they're also just so loyal, right? They're very appreciative for what you can give them as a company if you can give them that continuity,
Yeah.
Hmm.
right? Not only are they starting and stopping new communities every time they move, but they're starting and stopping careers. So let's change that.
Yeah.
Let's make remote opportunities for spouses to have that career growth. And it really just it pours back into the military community as a whole,
Yeah.
creates stability, creates financial wellness. And that's really what Instant Teams is doing. And they are knocking it out of the park.
I love
Right.
it. I love it. Erica, what is one big thing that you're most excited about for this year that you personally and the team are going to be focused on, and that you're going to is going to be one of the biggest goals, one of the biggest objectives that you got in front of you for the rest of 2025?
Oh my gosh, that's such a trick question because everything is so exciting. Like every line of business that we do is opening up and creating opportunities for these families. So you really do see that level of gratitude. Jen and I constantly we get on our Zoom calls and we say it feels like the ceiling's about to break over our heads because every conversation we enter into, businesses have the exact same experience you do, where it goes, aha, oh my gosh,
Yeah, right.
there is a way to do it that
Yeah.
is sustainable and makes sense. If I were to double click on what Jen said, 40% of this community is underemployed. And 1/5 of them
Wow.
experience food insecurity. So it is no joke. When they say they get the opportunity to come to work, they are
Ready to
excited.
rock.
They're willing. They've been sitting on the sidelines. Erica and Liza, our co-founders, will tell you we have nearly 70,000 employer active job seekers waiting
Right
for
now.
that
Right now.
opportunity.
Football
And we
stadium.
can't get jobs in front of them fast enough. They get snapped up so quickly. So what I'm excited about is seeing the impact that we make. And when we come to events like you're coming to our event this
Yeah.
week, you see the people firsthand. It becomes very real. You understand their stories and you
Totally.
get to know who they are. And that's what's exciting to me is you're changing lives.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jen, same question for you.
Yeah. I mean, to reiterate what Erica said, it's the impact,
Yeah,
right? So we have 70,000 plus military spouses
crazy.
waiting
That's
for
crazy.
their next opportunity. They're highly educated,
Mhm.
highly skilled, and they just want the opportunity to be plugged in somewhere. And I think that's, what makes Instant Teams unique is the sense that we're a boutique BPO, right?
Mhm.
So we can build small teams,
Yeah.
right? Let us get in there. We'll outperform your teams all
Yeah.
day long.
Right.
Yeah.
If you want to start with 2, grow from there, 10, great, let's do it. Right. But we can also scale if you need more than that.
Yeah.
The other opportunity that we have that I think is really cool for spouses and companies alike is our job board.
Yeah.
So if companies are hiring and maybe it's only 1 or 2 seats or it's different roles, they can actually add their jobs to our job board and pull from our spouse talent.
Mhm.
And so, it's a great place for companies to start. It's very hands off, super easy to do, but they're creating that impact. And that's really what we want to drive home, right? I think it goes back to what you said, Adrian, is people just don't know a lot about
They
the
don't.
military
They don't know.
community.
Right.
Right.
And that's not always their fault, right? It's just your
Lack of
point of
exposure.
reference.
Absolutely.
But if they ever get a chance to talk to a spouse or want to talk to a spouse, come have a conversation. We'll tell you our stories. We have thousands of them.
Right.
And it's just amazing to hear.
I love it. And guys, for our listeners, think about this for a second. Hit pause, rewind, go back to what Jen and Erica just said. Every one of you guys has some need in your business right this second
Mhm.
that you've been can't find the right person,
Mhm.
having trouble even getting leads, getting people to
Yes.
respond to the damn
Yeah.
ad, or there is a football stadium of people ready to rock and roll that are spread across the world, have all of this
Yes.
diverse expertise,
Mhm.
education, the pliability and the flexibility and just the resilience. We've already kind of nailed on all
Right.
that pre-vetted part of
Right.
what Erica's talking about. This is a super interesting space, and this is something that I know that you guys are super proud of
Yeah.
what you built. You're building an incredible business, an incredible organization, incredible community, and I'm thrilled that we were able to come down here with y'all this week and share some of the story. You guys are doing a dynamite job too. Before I let you go, where can people that are listening to this specific interview, where can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more, Jen and Erica, about what it's like to actually be in a military spouse role, and then,
Yeah.
or if they want to learn more about stuff that you guys are doing here today at
Yeah.
Instant Teams, where can they get in touch with you guys?
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely reach Erica and I both on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
or just go to our website. It's instantteams.com. Set up a call. We would love to have a conversation with anybody, even if it's just trying to figure out what do military spouses do,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
So,
You're curious.
yes,
literally.
yes.
And your wealth of information for anybody that is in the seat or comes across this story and it resonates with you. These two women have
Yeah.
a ton of information
Yeah.
and knowledge and experience to boot.
Yeah.
So, Jen, Eric, it's an absolute pleasure having you guys in the Seas Chronicles podcast, and I wish you the very best of luck in the future.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank
See ya.
you.